Hello YouTube, this is my CSGO gambling predictions on the PGL Krakow Major, and yeah, I'll just give my advice on which team I think is going to win, and my betting predictions will come at the end of the video, and I'm going to turn, well, I did have $20 and I'll try and turn that into a knife. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe, and I just quickly like to point out these are all best of ones, and that is why I've done the bets at the end like I did, but as it progresses to best of threes as the tournament progresses, and then my strategy will change in terms of how I do it. So yeah, enjoy. Okay, so the first matchup of the day is mousesports versus Gambit, and just as a general trend, Gambit tend to perform on LAN. In their past matches of playing each other, Gambit have lost both times, and they've played twice. They lost 16-12 on Cash and 16-9 on Cobble. In terms of their current form, Mouse are doing alright. They've won 3 out of their 5 last games, which includes beating Flipside and Space Soldiers, whereas Gambit aren't doing too bad at the moment, but they've only won 1 out of 5, and they have lost to teams like Epsilon and Vitalis. Oh, I don't know how you say that team because I've never heard of it, but yeah, so obviously it would look more towards mousesports in terms of their recent form. HLTV's player highlight goes to Oscar, and because he is a very good player at the moment, and yeah, he's definitely going to cause some damage, and I'll do a fantasy team later on towards the end of who I think is going to perform and hopefully win the fantasy competition. In terms of the odds, I would probably give this a 70-30 to Mouse. Like, everything would favour Mouse. They've won all the past times, they're playing well at the moment, but I don't know, Gambit always seems to perform on LAN, and I don't know why. I think they could definitely pull off an upset. So yeah, I've got $20 at the moment, and I'll just show you all my bets at the end. Alright, so that is match 1 done. The second match of the day is Fnatic versus Flipside. In terms of their past matches, they've played 15 times, Fnatic have won 14 and Flipside have won once. Fnatic are not on strong form at the moment, but they have had hard opponents. They've won 2 out of their last 5 games, and they have beat Space Soldiers and Heroic, which are obviously good teams, but not like top tier, and they have lost versus top tier teams like SK, FaZe and Mouse. Flipside playing well, beating teams like Penta and Vipra, which are strong teams, that have lost versus Kinguin and Mouse, and they've won 3 out of their last 5 games. HLTV's player highlight is Electronic from Flipside, and he is definitely on form at the moment, and he has a high KPR, I forgot what it is. I'll make sure I find out for all the other matches though. In terms of the odds, I would give it another probably about 75-25 Fnatic, just because they've won 14 out of the 15 games, and they are, even though they have only won 2 out of 5 of their last games, they've lost to incredibly high tier teams, and Flipside probably isn't as good as them. So I would say Fnatic will take this one with some ease, but you never know, it is a best of 1, and yeah, so I'll show my bets at the end, but that is match 2 done. The third match of the day is VP versus Vega Squadron, and before this tournament I had never heard of Vega Squadron, but I have done some research, and I do believe this is going to be the most likely upset of the day, as it is a best of 1, and this is a LAN tournament, and VP are more of an online team than LAN in my own opinion. You might disagree. The teams have never played each other before, so that's nothing to go off. At the moment, VP are not on form, losing 3 out of the 3 last matches versus teams like Heroic and Immortals, which are good teams for sure, but they shouldn't be challenging VP, as they are deemed as one of the best teams. Vega have won 3 out of the last 5 matches, beating teams like Optic and Tyloo, which are good teams again. Player highlight is Mir of Vega Squadron with a KPR, which stands for kills per round, of 0.86, and a DPR, which stands for deaths per round, of 0.66, with an impact rating of 1.37 out of 2. In terms of the odds, I will have to go against these, even though they might change as it starts in, well, about 2 days from now. But I would have to give the odds 55-45 to Vega Squadron, because I don't know why. I just feel they're going to win this one due to VP's current form, and they have been playing well, and yeah, you'll never know what happens. The next matchup of the day is Penta versus SK, and again, I think Penta have a bigger map pool, in my opinion, than SK, meaning that they have the ability to play on more maps well, as opposed to SK. The two teams have never played each other, so that is nothing to go off. Previously, SK lost Space Soldiers in a best of 1 on Cash, and Space Soldiers are about as well known as Penta, I'd say, in my opinion. So it is definitely possible for Penta to pull off the upset. However, realistically, SK are on unstoppable form, beating Cloud9, FaZe, Optic and Fnatic. Have won 4 out of the 4 last matches. Penta's form is not great, losing to teams like Kingwin and Flipside. HLTV's player to watch is Fur, with a 0.81 KPR and a 0.66 DPR with an impact rating of 1.44, showing he is definitely going to cause some damage against the other team. And in terms of odds, I'd give this a 80-20 SK, because Penta have lost 2 teams, because Penta's form is not great, but I'd still say there is a chance, as SK lost to Space Soldiers in the last ESL 1 Cologne major. So I'd say it's definitely doable, but I think SK will have learned the lesson and will go try hard this game. The next match is FaZe versus Big, and in my opinion this is another big chance of an upset. The teams have played once, but it ended 22-20 to FaZe in overtime, so it was obviously a very close game. FaZe have won throughout the last 5 matches, beating Liquid, North and Fnatic, which are obviously very high tier teams, showing they are on form. Big have won 4 out of their last 5, beating Liquid, Immortals and Penta, so they are clearly also playing very well and beating high tier teams. The player highlight is Tabson of Big with a 0.84 KPR and a 0.71 DPR with an impact rating of 1.42. In my opinion, he is quite an inconsistent player, however, and it depends if he shows up on the day. In terms of odds, they definitely shouldn't be 3.33 to 1.25, and I'd definitely say there is a high chance that Big can definitely pull off the upset, due to it being a very close game beforehand, and they are definitely on form, beating Liquid, Immortals and Penta. So I'd probably give the odds 60-40 FaZe, as they should take this, but I definitely think Big have a good fighting chance. The next matchup of the day is North versus Cloud9, and Cloud9 have been on strong form lately, getting to the finals versus SK of the ESL 1 Cologne, but they didn't show up and lost 3-0 to SK. In terms of their past matches, they lost to North 16-12 on Cobble, but they beat them at 16-13 on Mirage. At the moment, North are off form and they've won 2 out of their last 5 games, losing to Optic, FaZe and SK, whereas Cloud9 are on strong form, having won 4 out of their last 5, beating NaVi, NIP, Mouse and Immortals, which are all high tier teams. The player highlight has been given to Config with a 0.79 KPR with a 0.63 DPR with impact rating 1.33, so I think he could definitely show up for North. In terms of odds, I'd probably give it a 65-35 Cloud9, as they are definitely on very strong form and they always seem to show up on LAN, and I just think they are going to take this win. The next matchup of the day is NaVi versus G2, and NaVi have been playing well at the moment and G2 is doing alright, but they are not on top of their ability, in my opinion. In terms of past matches, they've played 27 times, and NaVi have won 17, whereas G2 have only won 10. NaVi have won the last 3 times they've played, and they 2-0'd G2 in a best of 3 in the ESL 1 Cologne tournament, which was very recent. NaVi won 4 of the last 5 games, beating teams like G2, Mouse and Space Soldiers, whereas G2 have won 3 out of the last 5, beating SK, Immortals and Tyloo. Simple has been given the HLTV player to watch with a 0.83 KPR, and a 0.76 DPR and a 1.27 impact rating. In my opinion, I'm going to give the odds 55-45 NaVi, just because I think they have the sheer talent to win this. Simple has been definitely stepping up his game at the moment, as have players like Guardian, and G2 have, in my opinion, been going down a bit, and players like Shocks aren't performing as well as they were a few months back. So I'd probably just about favour NaVi, but it definitely could go either way, especially as it is a best of 1. The last game of the day is Astralis versus Immortals, and the odds are definitely very biased towards Astralis, and they have, as you can see, 1.25, and Immortals have 3.26. They have played 3 times, and they have played 4 times before, and Astralis have won 3 of them. They beat Immortals on Train, Dust 2 and Cash, but Immortals have also beaten them once on Cash. Astralis haven't played professionally since the 25th of June, so it's hard to comment on their recent form, but out of the last 5 matches they've won 3 out of their last 5, and they have beaten teams like Liquid twice and VP, which are high tier teams. Immortals have only won 2 out of their last 5 matches, beating VP and Hellraisers, which are definitely high tier teams, but they have lost versus Liquid, Cloud9 and G2. Henny has been given the player to watch with a 0.73 KPR, a 0.6 DPR and a 1.17 impact rating. Yet again, in my head, he's one of the players that either show up or they don't. So definitely, if he doesn't show up, I think this could definitely go the way of Astralis, but if he does show up, then I definitely think Immortals have a high chance of winning, especially as it's a best of 1. In my opinion, I give the odds 55-45 Astralis, but it should be nothing near that, because I do think Astralis will win, but I am definitely going to bet on Immortals, which I'll do the bet and bet just after this. Just because Immortals have been playing kinda well lately, and definitely could win this match. I have now changed my strategy of how I bet in the best of 1 matches. So I always go for the underdogs, so that's what I'll be doing mostly, just because it's a best of 1, high chance of an upset. None of these teams don't know how to play the game, and if one team shows up and the other one doesn't, then that team's just going to win, like what happened with SK versus Space Soldiers. No one saw that coming, I personally didn't, and yet Space Soldiers went on to take the win. So for the first match, I am going to go Gambit, because they do show up on LAN quite a lot, and they had a tournament like a year ago, I think, roughly, where they just came in and destroyed everyone. So on a 2.4 multiplier, I'm going to bet $1.50 on Gambit. I'll try and turn this $20.38 into a knife, which is going to be my end goal. So I'm going to go $1.50 on Gambit. I'll do a big multiplier bet towards the end. Fnatic versus Flipside. See, that one I think there's a chance of Gambit winning. I'd say there's very little chance of Flipside winning. So I'm going to only go, I don't know, 50, I'm going to go 88p to try and clear up my balance. Okay, because I do not see Flipside winning, but the odds are too low to Fnatic that if I put, I don't know, $5 on it and they were to lose, then that would be like a rip. And you never know, Flipside are a decent team. By no means I'm saying they're bad, but I'm going to go 88p onto them. The next match is VP versus Vega Squadron, and the odds are very much in VP's favour, so that is why I'm going to go $4 on Vega Squadron, I think, just because I feel they're going to win this one. so that's a nice multiplier if they do win. Alright, $4 on Vega Squadron. Penta versus SK. Yet again, like this game, I cannot see Penta winning, but I'm gonna go 50p on them. I think is probably the best bet, just in case they do win, and as it's only 1.15, then there's not much point. Big versus FaZe. I definitely can see Big taking this, so I'm gonna do a decent sized bet. Oh, not $13.50. I'm gonna go $2.50 onto Big. Yeah, $2.50 onto Big. Next match, Cloud9 versus North. But as the odds are relatively 50-50, I'm gonna have to go Cloud9 here. And even that is against how I'm betting, but Cloud9's form has been too strong and the odds aren't too biased towards Cloud9. So I'm going to put $3 on Cloud9. Next page, there's NaVi versus G2, and I think NaVi are going to win this, and they have got decent odds, so I'm going to get $2 on NaVi and leave some room for fantasy and other bets. So I'll come on to the fantasy and multipliers in a minute. Alright, I haven't planned what multiplier bets I'm going to do, but how much is fantasy to enter that? Fantasy is $4, so I'll do $2 in big multiplier bets. That is my plan. So to begin, filter it down to Counter-Strike only. I think, starting with the major, I think, okay, I'm going to do one bet where I'll do 50p and I'll get all the teams that I think are going to win. So I think mousesports will win, Fnatic will win, Vega Squadron will win, SK will win, Big will win, Cloud9 will win, NaVi will win, and Immortals will win. Damn, I can't do that because it's too big a multiplier. That is a bit annoying. So if I removed the SK match, could I do it? Yeah, I'll put 50p on that. So if this all happens, I'll get $95, which would be nice. That's worth a 50p gamble, in my opinion. And now I'll do $1 on all the matches that I'm pretty confident will win. Well, not confident, but I will get decent money back. So I think Vega will win that. I never like betting on Fnatic because whenever I bet on them they lose, and whenever I bet against them they win. So I'll skip that, and I do think Gambit could win, so I'm not going to get on that, but I think Vega will beat VP. SK will beat Penta. I think Big will beat FaZe. You've used all of the limit for some match. What for done? Hang on. I'm a bit confused. Hang on. I think Vega will win, SK will win, Big will win. Alright, I'll have a look into this. Okay, I have no idea what's going on with the multipliers. I can't figure it out, but I will enter this fantasy. And in this, I think this is the team I pre-planned earlier, and I'll just explain my choices. So basically you have $50,000 to build a team with, and so I got all the players that I think are going to show up. So to begin, Mouse versus Gambit. I do favour Mouse, so it's safe to put Mouse players in. Plus Oscar is the key player for Mouse in my opinion. Fur's in here because SK are more than likely going to be Penta, and Fur always shows up, and he has been an animal at CSGO at the moment. Phelps is like the body of G2, he's always just quite consistently playing quite well. He's never, well, sometimes he is, but he never normally carries the team, but he never does the worst, so he is a safe bet in terms of someone that will just play well against who are they playing, Penta. And I've gone for 2 Immortals players because they have quite low frequency fantasy points per game. I think that's what FPPG stands for. And yeah, I think they could take it against Astralis, and if they do, then their points will go up a lot and hopefully make me a lot of money. The team badge I have selected is Vega Squadron because I think they'll get quite a lot of points because they're playing VP, and I do see them beating the VP. So that is going to be my team. I'll just double check there is no one else. See, as you can see, like Simple, who's been playing the best, well, debatably at the moment, he's the most expensive player, and then Mir from Vega Squadron, and it just goes down like that. Like Electronic's been playing insanely, and so you can just build a team out of 50,000, and that is what I've done. So yeah, I think this is going to be my team, so I'll enter that now. Yeah, it's a clean looking team, I do like that. Yeah, okay, I'll go for that. That is my fantasy team done. Bolts, Phelps, Fur, Oscar, Lucas and Vega Squadron. That is my fantasy team. Okay, so I cannot do anything more. I don't know why that's in red. But it keeps, like, say I had NaVi, then it says you've used up some of your limits. Don't really know what that means, but I'll just take that out. So I'll just remove that. I've got a 7 multiplier. I'm gonna go, I don't know, I'll put 50. Nah, that's nothing if I win that. You know what, I'll put, okay, it's saying I can only put 79p on it, I don't know why. I'll only go 50p then, just because it's not letting me. I don't understand this site, and I probably won't use this one again. But yeah, that is my bets, and just as it is, I'll go on Red Reserve in the DreamHack tournament, which I didn't do a betting predictions for, but so yeah, they are my predictions. I'll leave them in the description. As I said before, they're all best of one, so easily upsets can happen, and that is what I've gone for in my bets. And yeah, I hope you enjoyed. If you choose to listen to this, I wouldn't go for the exact same fantasy team, as if you want to see my fantasy history, it is not looking too pretty. I think that is, oh no, I forgot I did it. Yeah, anyway, can't show you that. And yeah, so this is my bets. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.